purpose. I'm sure some of you would have gone ahead and read a little bit about it. This is powering an inclusive future for all. And this is what we really, are proud of. So if you have heard of the phrase, actions speak louder than words, right? So be it corporate social responsibility, or the social justice movement, or creating an employee resource group, or talk about diversity, pay parity, you name it, and we are there. We are there, right? And if you look at Cisco's values, what are those? Whatever we preach, be bold, right? Take responsibility. Give your egos a day off, and give your best. And that is why we are among the top 3 best employers in the country. And if you look at, thank you. And even globally, I think each time when we see those rankings go up, all the countries, we are doing so well. We are among the best employers in the world. So with that, let's talk about, what is something that we are doing differently. When we look at the industry, the talent trend has transformed. How many of you agree to that? Yes, most of you here, and I'm sure people on the call as well. So the future of workforce is changing constantly. This is something that we have to really, match with or be ahead with. And Cisco has always been a step ahead. We started our inclusive hiring journey 5 years back with our Ideathon program. But if you look at the last 2 years, we have been in a rapid speed of making it more and more inclusive. And you would have heard us saying that any college, any degree, any specialization, you can apply at Cisco. So if you come and take our assessments, you clear the assessment, and you qualify, you get to our unique interview process. And this is something we created about 2 years back, where we are masking some of the information. Some information which can unintentionally cause certain biases, like which university you're from, or what is your GPAs or CGPAs, right? Which degree, what specialization, what gender. We hide all of this information. But what we actually let the interviewers see is the work that you have done, the skills that you bring in, your technical profile, your achievements. So these are the things that we are trying to do. And you won't believe, every time there's a change, there's a little bit of unsettlement, right? All of us, nobody likes change. But then we've seen success through this. And we've seen the amount of diverse talent that we've been able to hire through this process. And when I say diverse, it means diversity of thought, diversity of schools, diversity of degrees, diversity of specializations. And that's actually something that an organization looks for. Okay? So with all of this, what is it that I'm trying to tell you? Any guesses? Yes, sorry? Yes. So the skills-based hiring approach is actually, that it's challenged the traditional approach of looking at, what is your marks? How much did you get in your exams? Or what degree or which college you come from? So it's challenged that approach completely. And what we are trying to do is, we are trying to create an inclusive future for all. And we are making you more aware, more employable. We are acting fast. So I have just one request. You act fast too. Swipe right and choose Cisco. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you so much, Priyanka, for illuminating Cisco's emphasis on inclusion, I should say. I hope all of us got a good idea of what she was talking about, how serious we take inclusion here at Cisco. And now I'm just going to take a little bit of time and talk a little bit about myself. So I have been an intern at Cisco, counting both my summer and my spring internships for about 8 months now, almost 8 months. And you would think that I would be used to coming to office every day, used to everything that's happening, used to my work. But honestly, and I'm not lying, I am amazed every single day that I come to this office. And that's because Cisco has a very wide technological range. I mean, I have worked with so many different tech stacks. I have worked on so many Cisco products, and believe me, there are so many Cisco products. In fact, being able to contribute to the development of Cisco products has been such an achievement for me, because at a company like this, where the technological range, like I said, is so wide, the landscape of technology is just so huge. Being able to implement, being able to innovate, being able to develop is just very, very, very exciting. And honestly, all of you guys have no idea. Someone in the audience said that they want to know what Cisco does, right? So that's what we're going to show you now. Cisco is doing a lot of super cool technological innovations that you guys have no idea about. Cisco is doing a lot of super cool technological innovations that you guys have no idea about. So who has over 20 years of experience. She holds a Cisco Pioneer Award. She has networking patents, and she's also the co-founder of a startup. Please welcome on stage, Lakshmi Mukund.
Hello, everyone. You can all hear me, right? Awesome. Welcome to Cisco, and thank you all for coming. And thank you for being here. I want to tell you a story. So my son, right, he comes to me and then he says, can you play this thing called human benchmark? Have you played it? It's like a thing where you have to remember 10 numbers, patterns, and repeat it, right? And then he says, do this typing test. I'm like, where is this going, right? And then yesterday he came and said, there is this thing called humanornot.ai. He said, play that. I'm like, oh God, is he really testing if I'm a human or a robot? Anyway, but that human or not AI.ai is very cool, because what you can do is, it's a chat bot, okay? You can chat with it. While you're chatting, you're given 2 minutes to see whether the entity on the other side is human or not. You need to guess by the responses. And the cooler part about it is, on the other side, the entity is also trying to guess if you're human or a machine. Super cool. So this is called the social Turing game. Turing comes from Alan Turing, right? All of you know. And he wrote, I think in the year 1950 or something, he wrote a paper called I Compute Machinery Intelligence. So the first line of that, the reason I have this is because I'm giving you exact names of the papers, so please go look it up. I propose to consider the question, can machines think, right? So this is one of those fundamental papers which kind of gave birth to AI. Actually, even before this, there was the researcher called Gauss, and he came up with something called the loss function. And if you are doing any AI, you will know how important and fundamental that is, right? Anyway, coming back to Alan Turing, the amount of work he has done in computing, the Enigma machine, all of that, based on that, they have kind of created an award called the Turing Award. You know this, right? This is like a Nobel Prize in computing. And it's given to contribution of lasting importance to computing. So why am I telling you all of this? Because in 2004, Vincent Cerf and Robert Kahn got this Turing Award, right? And they got it for internetworking and implementing Internet's basic communication protocol. Anyone knows what that is? TCP/IP? All of you have read it, right? So the beauty of Internet Protocol or IP is that architecturally it is so beautiful. It is truly beautiful. That's the only word I can think of. Because when you implement this protocol, the packets that are going on the network don't care about the medium, right? You can send it on Li-Fi, on electromagnetic signals. You can send it on a wire, optical cable, it doesn't matter. You remember when we were kids, we used to take 2 boxes and tie a wire and talk? You can even send it on that, right? It is so profound. And the network doesn't care about what is inside the packet, right? Any application. You want to send an Instagram reel, you want to send like some code of some database, it doesn't matter at all. That's why that simplicity and that flexibility is what makes IP so amazing. And you know when they wrote this paper? 1974. And today, even today, IP is everywhere. In fact, more and more number of things. The whole of IoT space is coming to IP, correct? And the number of innovations that are being done. Why is it possible? Because of this really profound, beautiful architecture. It is so simple that you can build whatever you want with it, right? You can create new mediums. You can create new applications. You don't have to touch the IP layer at all. It will still work, right? So all of these innovations has been happening in Cisco, and I'll show you many of them. And for the longest time, I thought internet surfing came from Vincent Cerf's last name, you know, C-E-R-F, but I don't think so. But there was a comic book called, what is that, Captain Internet and Surf Boy. So in that, surfing was really from Cerf's last name. So why did I tell you about comic? Because this is Comic-Con, which happened in Mumbai, and it happened in April. I don't know, has any one of you gone to any Comic-Cons? You have, great, awesome. So people dress up like their favorite comic characters, and it's a lot of fun. But the reason I'm telling you this is because this happened in the Geo World Center in Bombay. I like to call it Bombay still. So there is 103,000 square meters of this convention center. And when you go to a conference, you all want to be connected, right? You want to look up things, you want to, you know, be on social media with your friends. So this connectivity takes about 2,000 access points to be configured everywhere, right? And it's a huge network. It's a fantastically designed network with uninterrupted internet, and it's all powered by Cisco. So that's amazing, right? Yeah. And it will sound like I'm advertising for Cisco, like a brand thing, but no, I'm advertising for the code that I wrote, right? Think of it that way. Right? You know, once I got a mail, the whole team, that I think Walmart had like one of our Catalyst switches. It's a Catalyst switch is a switch that's used in enterprise networking. And they had said show version. Show version on the router gives you like details of what software it's running, how many days it's been up. And this said 11 years, 4 months, 3 days. Just imagine, 11 years, not one crash. Feels so good, right? That means your code is kick-ass solid. So, yeah. Let's come a little closer to home. Bangalore Airport, right? Every time I go here, I feel so good. You connect to the internet, I know that packet is going through my code somewhere, you know? And 44,000 endpoints can connect. For, how many? You can read those numbers. It's just amazing numbers, right? And those FIDS, flight display systems, all of this. All of this is great, but we do something more here. Here, how many different airlines are in the airport, right? So many different ones. And then there are these badge readers, which are extremely important because they have to be very secure. You cannot go and hack into them. And there are these HVAC systems. You see the whole sustainability thing is going on. All of that is in IP, right? So your AC has an IP address, for example. So all of these networks are on their independent virtual segmented networks, right? Even though physically it's the same network, it's divided into so many of these virtual networks, and they cannot talk to each other. It is so secure. So that's what we have done there, and that's called software-defined access, which is an innovation that happened, right, recently. So let's look at this, right? Cruise. I mean, I don't know how many of you have been on a cruise, and apparently it's very awesome. You can see sunsets, sunrises, and the water, and play and swim on that, and all of that. But what is more important than all of us, all of you know, internet access, right? Without that, what's the sunrise? Yeah, you have to like make a reel out of it and send it out somewhere. Otherwise, what's the point of enjoying it? No, I don't believe that really, but I'm sure you all do. Anyway, so this is internet on the seas. How do you get internet? Through satellites, right? And inside that, of course, it's completely Wi-Fi and networked. And the thing what I'm trying to show you is each of these innovations, we are making the network better and better. So we have something called Thousand Eyes. Thousand Eyes, like the name indicates, there are so many sensors that are on the network watching each part of it, right? Trying to see which packet is going where. Is it going in the right path? All of these things. And so it gives us alerts saying that, there is a possibility that something might go wrong here. And then we have something called App Dynamics, which makes sure that the app that is running is optimized for whatever network there is. And then there's something we call full stack observability. My God, can't say that. So there, you're also looking at every part of the network. That means from the time that I log into the network till I access my data center, wherever it could be on the cloud, till I get back something, right? Everywhere you're kind of observing every single point, every single application, every single packet, every single interface, right? That's what we do with full stack observability. And all of that is why, so that we can give you absolutely continuous internet experience all the time, right? Now let's go to the Paris Olympics. This is completely, Cisco is an official partner for the Paris Olympics. And you know that the country that decides to host it knows it about 6 years ahead. So this time, from 2021, Cisco has been building this network for Paris Olympics. And all sorts of things we are doing here. One very interesting thing is an immersive experience. This is all your AR, VR, everything. When the Olympics is telecasted, there is, all the images come up, and you're automatically transported to somebody who's running a race and all of that, right? So that whole immersive experience means that you need extreme data connectivity, correct? And it has to be real time. So that's happening there. And then you have WebEx, of course, for all the athletes to be in touch with their coaches, with each other. And then autonomous transport for taking equipment from one place to another. All of this also requires very real-time, very quick, very low round-trip time communication. Something else called open roaming. This is very interesting. This was a technology a few years back. I remember giving a talk on it, and now it's reality. So what you can do with this is that you can sign up with this open roaming consortium. So say you go to Starbucks and has a Wi-Fi, right? You're automatically connected to it. Today, what will happen, you go to Starbucks, you have to say, open this in a browser, go there, put your details, say yes, right? So all that happens automatically if you become part of that open roaming consortium. So say you're in Starbucks, say you're here, there's a public internet, you're automatically connected. You go somewhere else, you're connected. You go to, say, the airport, you'll get connected. So this is like roaming through all your Wi-Fi networks automatically, right? And they want to do it in the whole city of Paris. So say you're in the stadium, you go out to a restaurant, then you go back to your hotel and to the airport. You're just connected all the time, right? You don't need data coverage because that's still quite expensive. So all of this happens in the Paris Olympics. Another thing that's happening there is something called a digital twin. All of you are aware of that? So that is a very interesting concept where you have an exact replica of your network created, right? So you're watching that. You're watching every movement. And say you want to make some change, you don't make it in the real network because, it might just come crashing down or something. So you make it in the digital twin, make sure everything is okay, like a dry run, and then you kind of put it onto the real network. So this digital twin, it's a upcoming technology, and we are showcasing that in the Paris Olympics. So that, again, there is no, never a drop in the connectivity at any point in time. And this is my most favorite. How many of you, Formula One? A lot of you, right? Yeah, I know. McLaren has won a lot of races, and we are collaborating with them And can you imagine, they say that they collect about 250 million data, oh, it's here only, 250 million data points, right? And they have to make really, really quick decisions. And these data points are what? Like maybe pressure of the tire, the heat of the tire, the heat of the chassis, maybe the engine, how much fuel is left, so many different things. And all of this information has to go extremely real time with very, very low latency to the control system. They make very, very quick decisions. Say there are 2 McLaren cars on the track, right? Based on these parameters, they will say, okay, driver 1, back off, let the driver 2 go, right? So these things, all of this powered by amazing routers and switches that we build because we build it with such low latency, right? Very, very high speeds. You can't even imagine. Yeah, and that's the other thing that we're doing with McLaren is something called, you all know WebEx, right? You use it all the time. I'm sure you do, and not the other one. So the WebEx also will have something called WebEx hologram. That means you can project, say you're designing the McLaren engine. You want to look at it and you want to see if you can make something better. So the whole engine can be holographed in front of you, and you can point, and the other person there will know what you're pointing at, right? It's just amazing. Just look it up. It's called WebEx hologram. Look it up on the Cisco site, and you can even look up the McLaren also. So this is something that's super exciting, right? And next, this, of course, has to be part of any talk. That's what I was going, there was a Future Networks conference last year, and one of the speakers said that this, it's impossible today to give a talk without touching AI. It has to be everywhere. And it's not that it's like a hype or anything. I think we've passed that, and we know that it has to be part of us if we have to exist in this world, in this technological world, right? And the interesting thing is that we have a lot of things where Cisco uses AI. A lot of our features are enhanced by AI, and Cisco Network also helps AI. How is that? Because AI needs a lot of compute, all of you know, right? NVIDIA is doing super great because of all its GPUs, but still we cannot have centralized compute. We need distributed compute, right? And if the compute is distributed, then they have to be talking to each other. They have to be exchanging whole amount of data. And that has to happen with minimum latency. So we are building networks with very, very low latency for this purpose. So in some sense, we are building networks for AI. And of course, AI is helping to make our networks better as well. So it's like a very nice synergy. So you remember that 103,000 square meters of space that had to have connectivity in the geo center? Now, how do you think you place these access points? You know, right? All of you have wireless routers at home. In your home, you keep one, it's okay. If you have a big home, maybe you'll need 2. But a place like that, you need 2,000 access points or more. And how do you decide where to keep it? How did they do it? So manually, people would go, place it everywhere, walk around with a sensor and say, oh yeah, here is where we are getting the signal, here it's not, so let's replace it, let's move it around. Now this whole thing can be done with AI, completely, right? You just give the map of where you want it, and it will tell you this is the minimum number of access points that you need. It will compute the channel, it will compute the antenna direction, the power of the antenna, everything, right? And it's not just one time. It keeps on monitoring. It says, okay, at some point, maybe the signal strength went away here. So let me make the antenna power a little more. So it's a continuous monitoring as well. So that's called the AI-enabled radio resource management, RRM. We love acronyms. We think it's very cool. Yeah, that you'll know when you join. And then there is something called the AI virtual assistant, right? Here, say you have a network admin. He goes to his really complicated network. He just stands in front of it and says, how are you doing today? So that's Gen AI working right there. So we understand what that means. It gets translated into what is the CPU usage, what is the memory usage, what are the alarms, what's the health of the system, has somebody not been authenticated, have there been drops in the packet? It gives you a full summary saying that, of course, first it says, yeah, I'm doing fine. Then it says, well, I'm not doing so fine because, all these packets got dropped, et cetera, et cetera. So you can have like a conversation with the network, right? You don't even need to know some commands, perhaps. You can just talk to it, and we translate that into what the network understands, right? So that's the virtual assistant. And then we have something called endpoint analytics. So here, a lot of us join the network, right? All of you have phones and everything. But say there is somebody who comes and tries to join the network and pretends to be something they are not. Say they are saying that they are a light bulb, but in fact they're a Raspberry Pi, which is trying to kind of, get into the network. How do you know that it's not a light bulb, but it's a Raspberry Pi? That's where machine learning comes in. We have signature patterns of the power consumption of every device, and then we kind of map it. We have signatures mapped for many devices. And when somebody says, I am a light bulb, we actually match it to the signatures we have and say, no, you don't look like somebody who is a light bulb, right? And we quarantine them. So that's called endpoint analytics, and we use a lot of AI for that. And we have something called AI-enhanced WebEx. So Rahul was saying, right, a lot of people, they might be doing something else while listening to this talk, perhaps. But what WebEx can do is that you can just say, can you summarize the talk for me, today? And it can do that. And it can also do one cool thing. You can ask it that, was my name ever mentioned in that meeting? Do I even need to bother, listening to it? So it'll tell you, this was where your name was mentioned, this is what you're supposed to do, right? So the nice part about Cisco is that we have a lot of ideathons, patenthons, hackathons that happen. And say you're working in wireless, but you have some idea in WebEx, you want to implement it, right? You can absolutely go and give your idea, and you can file a patent, perhaps, right? So that's the inclusive nature of Cisco. It allows you to innovate wherever you want, and we believe innovation can come from anywhere, like Ratatouille said, right? That rat there. So innovation can come from, we truly believe that, truly, right? And so that was the AI part of it. And this is a tech stack. What we're trying to say here is that all of you might think Cisco is like a hardware company. It's like, only systems programming. Yes, we do systems programming. We do assembly coding. We do driver coding. We do like TCAM programming. We do, chip design. We do a lot of things, but we do a lot of software programming as well. We have a huge tech stack. We work on all of this. In fact, I'll give you an example of a security product called ICE, which is very cool because it's called ICE. And there we use open APIs. We use React.js for the UI. We use Grafana for charts and graphs. We use MongoDB for storage, RabbitMQ as a message broker, Prometheus for monitoring, Git for the code repository. I can go on and on, right? So a lot of products in Cisco using so many things across the tech stack, right? And we have a lot of things that we innovate every day. We have like such a beautiful IP protocol that's there, and on top of that, we innovate every day. So I invite you to come, join us, innovate with us, make a difference, and touch millions of lives. So please do consider us. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So cool. You didn't catch the last joke there. She said ice is a very cool tool because it's ice. And none of you laughed, but I was giggling myself off there, So everything's aside, Lakshmi mentioned on a lot of occasions that she was very happy that Kempegowda Airport used a lot of Cisco because packets were traveling through her lines of code at some point in time. Now, if you all, if we are lucky enough to have you join us and you write amazing code and you build amazing products, then you can also make a lot of Lakshmi. Okay? Now, jokes aside, we have a lot more in store for you. Up first, we today heard from Priyanka, who is the head of our emerging talent recruiting across APJC, and she spoke about our vision, our values, our belief systems. And then you heard from Lakshmi, who couldn't have said it better about all of the amazing things that we're working on. Our tech stack, our products, our solutions, everything that Cisco builds. That's the best possible summary in 10 minutes. And up next, you're going to hear about our life at Cisco. If you join us, what will your day-to-day life look like? What does an experience working with teams within Cisco look like? So to talk about all of that and a lot more, I want to invite on stage a very cool person. Now, if ICE is a cool product, this is a cool person. And the official introduction to him is that he's the Senior Director at Customer Experience within Cisco. Right? We believe very firmly in keeping our customers at the heart of everything we do. But the unofficial introduction to him is that there's a lot of people here in Cisco who have a man crush on him. He's a lot like the Indian version of James Bond, because every man wants to be him and every woman wants to be with him. I want to invite on stage with a massive round of applause, Rajesh Chandrasekhar, everybody.
That was good. Well, that was Rahul for you. And I'm not sure of all of that, but what is true is I truly enjoy my life at Cisco. And I think, Lakshmi, you did a fantastic job of just talking through the practicality of what we do. We are not in the ether. We make products and make a difference to people's lives. So folks, at the very beginning, our MC, still in college, said, Rahul is old. Rahul's been here for a long time. Rahul is young. I was in your chair not a year ago, but 31 years ago, right? So I've been around, and I can tell you what I experience at Cisco today is world-class work and life combined, and I'll tell you why, right? If you think of Cisco, we are a product company. Product company thrives, succeeds only with innovation. Look at the number of patents we generate. Patents make sure we protect what we build. It differentiates us from competition, right? The investment we make into R&D, research and development, is close to $7+ billion. That's aspirational for a lot of companies for revenue. Forget the amount plowed back into R&D. That's what generates it. And end of the day, this is what we get from the customers and stakeholders. We build their trust because we've been here for a long time. Fireflies come and go, companies come and go, but here we are to stay. 40 years, we're coming up on 40 years, and this is what Cisco is. And I'm proud to say that I've been here, not as long as 40, but I've been here. So why am I here for this many years, right? If you look at the bottom of the slide, you're going to see the different functions that exist in Cisco India, right? And if you look at the roles above it, it's cogs of a wheel. You can think of jumping between wheels, you can experience each wheel, but if you look at each of them, there are so many of them. I can't imagine any student wanting to get into a tech company and not finding a role that they can relate to or they want to grow into or learn and excel in. So I think that's the power of Cisco in India. All tech companies pretty much have the bottom row, right? But most of them do not have that outside the headquarters. It's usually within the headquarters. So you find companies along this ring road, international companies, but they won't necessarily have all the functions that exist here, and that's what makes a difference. But when you're thinking in college, when I was in college sitting like you, right, I didn't exactly know where I'm going to be, what I'm going to be doing. But if you're able to get into a company such as ours and jump into something that's interesting, you can make a life and a career out of it, right? Good segue to the next one. You can get a job, but how do you build a career out of it? You build a career because you learn, you grow with the company, right? And I've been here at Cisco for 17 years, and this week I started my 6th role, right? Significantly different role. And that's what makes me proud that, hey, I've been here for long, but I'm able to do different things, learn it, and build different careers while still being in the same company. That's truly unique. And you guys can connect with other people, and it's usually fairly straitjacketed, limited resources, and hence can't jump around. But in our company, you can build many careers. Learning, again, you guys are still in college, you've got a long ways to go to learn and grow, but I can tell you, if you get into Cisco, we don't stop learning. The amount of options you get to keep learning is across the board. And the best way to learn, if you're coming out of college and into a company like Cisco, is mentoring. Imagine having a coffee with Lakshmi, while you're at Cisco. The kind of mentoring opportunities, the kind of learnings you just get by shadowing execs. There was a recent grad who shadowed me last week, and it's part of a program. It's not anything that Rahul alludes to about me, but she was shadowing because it's part of exec shadow program. And she was able to attend my extended staff meetings. She was able to relate to, hey, these are the challenges I'm facing. How is it in your org? How do you deal with it? So these are the learnings you get when you're part of a company that believes in investing in you. Professional certifications, right? If you're in security, if you're a CCIE, and by the way, we kind of give you a huge bonus if you get a CCIE certification. It's not like, go out and do it and, thank you. We really reward you with monetization because you take that and you make a better product. You give a better service, right? Education. In fact, last week, we just approved a bunch of people to go to BITS Pilani, current employees, to BITS Pilani for an AI ML master's 2-year degree. So they're going to spend the next 2 years working at Cisco, and weekends, they're going to come into Cisco, and this cohort is going to learn about AI ML. And imagine that you guys all have been through final year projects. These guys, MS program is all set. They're learning, they're applying their skills, they're doing their projects over here, and at the end of 2 years, guaranteed they're going to get sucked into the hottest AI programs because they've just been minted with a BITS Pilani degree. And I can go on that. So keep in mind that learning is continuous and it's real when you're in Cisco. Corporate social responsibility, Priyanka touched upon it. It's our way of giving back, and it's not a program, it's the way of life. Yesterday, some of you may have participated, Ciscoians might have participated. We put together grocery bags. These are quite heavy. I had to lift them with both hands. We kind of packaged them at Cisco and gave them away to about 1,000 facilities people at Cisco. These are the people who come to Cisco, keep this place spick and span. Whether we show up or not to work, they show up every day, keep it together, run the security, clean the bathrooms, they do everything. And our way of giving back was we donated grocery bags that they could take back and probably last a month of groceries, right? That's just one example. Last weekend, a bunch of us went to Coorg and went to a school didn't have all the facilities about hygiene, women hygiene, and health. And there's a team of Ciscoians who went there and did that. So literally, this happens every week, and we do that because once you have the ability, it's time to give back, and that's what we do. And on the technology side, NetAcad, 17 million people benefited from it, right? So this is something that we're proud about and something we want to keep doing. Lastly, this technology, there's the human side of it. What can one do? Look at the number of options you have if you want to be, if you're interested in leading it or being part of it. I'm not going to read through all of them, but it's very hard for someone to look at this, scan these 16, and then say, I don't relate to any one of them. By the way, beyond this, we have other networks, like I'm part of Mindfulness and Resiliency Network. This is something that we care about, mental health, wellness, right? So there are networks, there are employee research or resource organizations. This gives you a chance to participate and give back. For example, Women of Cisco. This is something I run for India, Cisco India, and we do different programs to give equal opportunity, give women at Cisco empowerment. Recently, we ran a book club, so it doesn't have to be a technology. We ran a book club written by Indian women authors, and said, bring out the uniqueness of that. So there are many ways one can contribute to EROs and be part of it. It's not all the time. You can go in and out. So my point is, come to Cisco if you want to learn, grow, and contribute, not just professionally, but as a person. So hope to see you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You heard about the vision, the belief systems, the values of Cisco right at the very start. You heard about our commitment to inclusivity. You heard about the amazing products and solutions that we build that are truly world-class in nature. You also heard that 3 out of 4 packets of data flow through a Cisco router or a switch or a firewall somewhere in the world. You also heard that all of the messages and the reels and all of the tweets that you make, I don't know what it's called now that it's X now, but all the tweets that you make, all the data flows through a Cisco device somewhere in the world. You also heard about what your life at Cisco will look like now that Rajesh has touched upon it. Did you also know that AI, heard about our commitment to technology, AI is being used in farms and farmers are using it these days? Did you know about it? Because you've all heard it, that old MacDonald had a farm, AI, oh. That was a poor joke that I just thought of, and everybody told me, do not say that when you go up. Intrusive thoughts. I let them win. Now that we've spoken about it, Rajesh has already spoken about the inclusive communities at Cisco. Think about it like a college club. You all have clubs in your college, a group of like-minded people that get together and make fun things happen or make work seem a lot more fun. I'm sure you know people, your seniors, perhaps people who have already gotten internships, talk about how dreary and drab work can be, and the 9 to 5 just beats them down. Nobody likes that, right? You speak to anybody, you're in campus today, walk up to anyone on any of the floors and talk to them if they know about ETC, which is one of our inclusive communities, which is emerging talent at Cisco. Emerging talent is anybody who's early in their career, i.e. all of you, especially Shubhangi. All of you. How can we make work more engaging, more fun, more meaningful, more purposeful for all of you? Communities like these make your experience wholesome. They make your experience memorable through curated experiences, through events, through connects with the leaders, through connects with our customers, lots of meaningful experiences curated for our employees. So work never feels drab. Work always feels fun. You always find your group of like-minded people. These are all the things we think about. But before we dive in further, there's a video that we want to roll for you, right? A video about experiences of our interns and our emerging talent employees. So take a look.
For me, it is about innovation and opportunity to grow while being my true self.
Why Cisco? Because here, collaboration isn't just a buzzword. It's how we achieve greatness.
I chose Cisco because here growth is a journey that we take together.
Hi, I'm Anmol and I work as a security TAC engineer with the CX team.
Hi, I am Suyashi. I work as a technical writer in the switching documentation team in Catalyst Engineering.
Hi, I am Shubhangi and I work with the Cisco Secure Business Unit, dealing with firewall security devices.
At Cisco, I'm not just learning about the future, I'm helping build it. Every day, I work with cutting-edge technology that's shaping our world. It's inspiring to see my work become part of a bigger solution.
We brainstorm, we challenge, we support. I have learned that great ideas grow from diversity of thought.
Whether I am brainstorming in the cafe or competing in a ping pong, basketball, or a badminton tournament, it's about enjoying the journey. This place is designed to inspire innovation, even during your downtime.
The smooth onboarding at Cisco made my transition from college to corporate life seamless.
The initial days helped us understand our roles, expectations, and milestones at Cisco.
The training sessions and mentor talks during onboarding have significantly boosted my confidence and skills.
Cisco's continual evolution in the tech industry, focusing on cutting-edge areas like AI and cloud computing, is inspiring. Within my department, we work with numerous high-end devices and platforms, always updating with recent trends.
Cisco's strong commitment to sustainability really stands out, showing their dedication to making a positive impact on the world.
The massive tech infrastructure and innovative trends at Cisco fuel my creativity and drive. My team focuses on AI/ML integration, which is both challenging and exciting. Working at Cisco provides a perfect blend of professional growth and personal well-being.
The Cisco campus is a delight to explore, with my favorite spots being the Galaxy Room and the Relaxation Lounge for a midday massage.
The in-house events and flexible work environment makes it so enjoyable and comforting to be a part of Cisco.
Joining Cisco wasn't just about starting a career.
Cisco is about joining a community that values growth,
where every moment is an opportunity to innovate and inspire.
Well, I did say I was the face of Cisco. I think that was a very fun video, and that's my unbiased opinion, right? Especially loving the shots where I'm just playing all the games and everybody else was working. Okay, so that's work-life balance for you here at Cisco. Now, let's move on to the more intriguing parts of our pre-placement talk. Probably something that all of you are waiting for and should definitely very carefully listen to, because we are going to be talking about our hiring programs, starting with Code with Cisco. Yes, so this year, we are back with our second edition of Code with Cisco, which is our flagship Codeathon, a platform that welcomes all of you students without any restrictions on your degree, your specialization, your college, and most importantly for all of us, your CGPA. Okay, so now Code with Cisco is basically a program that hires for software engineering roles, right? So we're basically talking about all these software engineering roles, just mentioning that once again. And through this Codeathon, we will be hiring for the roles of spring interns and new graduates. That's a good thing, taking a picture, if you guys want to remember what we're talking about here. So now, let me just explain the timeline once. We start the registration, and we have actually already finished the registration, as you can see. The next step is the online assessment, which will be taking place on the 25th of June, which is upcoming. So all the best to all of you here who's going to be writing the online assessment. Post this, we will be calling the top performers of the online assessment to our campus for a 2-day Codeathon, which will be happening on the 9th and the 10th of July. Now, the top performers from that Codeathon will also receive the opportunity to sit for our placement interviews. But don't worry, all those of you who do not make it to the Codeathon and don't get to see our very, very beautiful Cisco campus, we haven't forgotten about you, because we do not limit our placement interviews to just the Codeathon participants. We will also call the top performers from the online assessment to take part in our placement interviews. Our team will be contacting the participants as and when required, and the interviews will begin in the 3rd week of July. So that was it for Code with Cisco. However, there is a significant change this year, because trying to align with the academic calendars of almost all universities, we have decided to do a phase 2 registration of Code with Cisco, which will be happening in August. But what is important to remember is that this is only for the role of a summer intern, which means we are only looking for 2026 pass-outs when we talk about the phase 2 registration. However, this version of Code with Cisco that is going to be happening on 25th June, the online assessment, that is targeting the 2025 pass-outs, right? I hope everybody's got that. So let's move on to our next program, next slide, which is the Ideathon. So the Cisco Ideathon is basically an opportunity for all you creative and talented students to contribute to Cisco's technological innovations. It is a program that encourages creativity, that gathers students to innovate, develop using technologies like 5G and Internet of Things, networking infrastructure, and whatnot. So looking at this roadmap that you can see in the slides behind me, we have also completed the registration of Ideathon and will be having our online assessment on the 25th of June, which is the same day as Code with Cisco. So that's easy to remember, right? Now, before that, I just want to mention that to know more about the roles, to know more about the process that is involved, you are all required to attend the Ideathon webinar, which is going to be happening on the 24th of June at 5 p.m. So please mark that down and make sure attending that Ideathon webinar. Now, after the online assessment, the participants will have to choose a problem statement and develop a solution for it. That is what is our idea submission period. After the idea submission period, we have our interview round. Here, the participant will be given 15 minutes to present their solution to the panel, which is followed by a managerial interview and an ETR, or Emerging Talent Recruiting Connect. The final outcomes of the Ideathon will be announced in August. But what is important to remember here is that each round is an elimination round. So not all participants are moving through each round. We will be eliminating students at each level. So I hope all of you guys got a good idea of what the Ideathon and Code with Cisco is, and I wish all of you best of luck in participating in both of these hiring programs. But like we've talked about in this pre-placement talk, I know we've mentioned that Cisco is a technological company. We have a lot of technological range and everything, but we are more than just technical roles. We are more than just software engineering and IT roles. So to talk more about our non-tech hiring roles, I'm going to call back my favorite person, Rahul.
She's just saying that so that I don't make fun of her again. Okay, we spoke about the core tech roles, the software roles, the consulting engineer roles, all the roles that were mentioned on your screen. But there's a bunch of non-technical roles that we hire for that are also equally important to us, to decide our strategy, to decide how we deal with our customers, to decide how we form our HR policies, all of that and more. You can see 4 tracks particularly on screen. I'm going to talk in a minute about each one of these tracks. First, you have Flex. The Flex program is an exclusive hiring program for our P&C team, which means people and communities team, i.e. HR roles. People who make it into HR roles from MBA colleges. If you're watching from home and you are completing your business degree, this is a role you're eligible to apply for. There's a process to make it to this role that you see right below in that rectangular box. So I want you to take a closer look at that. Now move on to the next bit that you see here. You see the CSAP program. The CSAP program is a similar exclusive hiring role for our sales business function. Now, our sales business function is an extremely enticing and exciting organization to work for. Do you know why? What are the big monies? In sales. I'm kidding. The sales also is an exciting role to work for if you're a non-technical person but wants to work in a fast-paced environment of enterprise sales. Now, CSAP stands for the Cisco Sales Associate Program. Even in sales, you have a technical track and a non-technical track. In a technical track, you're somebody who's perhaps delivering demos and explaining solutions in a simple, articulate manner to our customers. Or if you're focused on selling, if you're focused on actually doing the act of selling, then you have more sales-oriented roles like an account manager or a sales specialist. Now we talk about PMO in customer experience. CX stands for customer experience. I feel good talking about this bucket because that's the role and the team that I work for. PMO stands for the Project and Program Management Organization within customer experience. We sell a lot of subscription and transactional services, consulting services to our customers. And to manage those large, complex projects, you have a project management organization. Description for the process to apply, also given there. Typically, a business school hiring program. And then finally, we have an in-trend and a role that is so much in the hype as of today, which is the product management track. Now, this is predominantly for the engineering business unit. You're developing cutting-edge technology, cutting-edge solutions. How do you crystallize the requirements from your customers, distill them down into the DNA that Cisco has, and build meaningful solutions for our customers? Work with various teams, the design teams, the development teams, the program management teams, and work like they say the CEO of a product. You own the product. That is the product management track. Also something that we predominantly hire from business schools for. Now, these are all of the predominantly the larger buckets that we hire for, the larger volumes that we hire in. There's also many other roles that we hire for that are not on this screen, but just because they aren't on the screen doesn't mean I won't touch upon them in a little detail. We hire for hardware engineering roles. We hire for supply chain roles. There are finance functions in Cisco. There's so many more. The list is a long one, but the ones we covered in terms of software engineering, in terms of all the 4 that you see on screen, customer experience, these are largest by volume, right? So there is something in it for everybody, but that's a bit of a brief about all the different flavors that you can expect to see. Can we move on to the next slide, please? On the next slide, I want to talk about the benefits that you get if you join a place like Cisco. Now, we keep talking about why Cisco is such a good place a great place to work for. The news just came out yesterday, and congratulations to the entire team, the Cisco team, the leadership team, because we just ranked number 3 in India as the greatest place to work, and the awards were given out yesterday. Yes, I heard some of you trying to clap, but you can go for it. Greatest place to work. What are some of the reasons why we come in that top tier category of employers in the country? There's a lot of reasons that you see on screen. I want you to take a quick glance at those widgets that you see on screen. I'm going to talk about 3 of these that I personally believe to be a class apart from the industry. Right? The first one I'm going to talk about is the Connected Recognition Program. Many employers have a dedicated R&R track, which means rewards and recognition track. Once a quarter, you have a top performer of the month, top performer of the quarter kind of an award. And you have a function where everybody is celebrated. In Cisco, that happens a lot more asynchronously. If you do a great job, you are called out right then and there by the people that you work with, by your stakeholders. We have an internal recognition portal where you get Cisco merchandise, you get direct rewards, you get awards, and all of this happens throughout the year. There have been situations where if you've done 3 amazing things a month, yes, you win 3 awards a month, because we like to call people out when they do amazing work. And we like to make our employees feel special. That's the first one. I want to talk about time to give. How many of you here are passionate about giving back to society? Because I personally am. I'm very invested in fitness, mental, as well as physical health related activities. And whenever there is an opportunity for me to give back in some form or shape, I get time off from work for my volunteering activities. There's a specific number of hours per year that you are entitled to take days off from work. You can inform your stakeholders and say, I'm going to work on an area of giving back that I'm passionate about. No questions asked. You're encouraged to do it. And if you haven't cashed in those time to give leaves till the end of the year, you in fact get a nudge from your manager saying, I know you're passionate about this, but I know work has been hectic. I think you need to take some days off and take care of your passion as well. So I think that's phenomenal. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is tuition reimbursement. Now this, I'm sure, is something that a lot of you would have paid closer attention to. How do I get my master's degree done without leaving work? Right? That's a question. How many of you have that question with a show of hands? Okay, perfect. Lots of you have that question. There are 2 categories. I'm just broadly simplifying this for you. There are 2 categories. Universities that are tied up with Cisco. For example, there is a BITS Pilani program for an MTech in software systems as well as in data science. You can go ahead, complete your MTech along with work, completely paid for and sponsored by your employer. You also can pick any master's degree, a PhD program, a certification course, any certification course that aligns with your roles and responsibilities. And Cisco has an annual tuition cap. Up to that number, you can claim for tuition reimbursement every year. Now, I know people here in Cisco who have done double degrees just to upskill. I know people in Cisco who have done a PhD while working with Cisco because it contributes not just to the company, but also to an employee's holistic well-being. There are 3 elements that I wanted to talk about that stand out to me, and so many more on screen. Touching upon them in 2 or 3 minutes doesn't do justice to them. So I want to take a pause here. And actually, we have a video that we want to play for all of you. For most of you here in this room, and a majority of you, we've done the stats on the side, a majority of you will be joining in some form or another the technical business units at Cisco. Software engineering, customer experience, one of these business units. So we have a short video clip to play for you about these 2 organizations. So take a look.
You wake up every day, you look around and say nothing's really changing, just another day. But you're no spectator, as you're a damn doer. You got the superpower and have no patience for later. If coding is your passion and software is your dream, if you have the skill and will, then you're the one to run the world. Your skills are means, your questions are dreams, your passion are teams, your code are goals. 4, 3, 2. From managing sporting events to making social impacts, from powering space missions to saving our planet. If coding is your passion and software is your dream, if you have the skill and will, then you're the one to run the world. From 5G to full stacking, from SaaS to ethical hacking, from automation and orchestration to IoT cybersecurity. You can be Gen Z rapper or a showstopper, from a village or a metro, natty or a retro. If coding is your passion and software is your dream, if you have the skill and will, then you're the one to run the world. Cisco, making life happen quietly.
It's that time. It's that time. The least favorite part of any of your events, and I'm sure we have this in common. It's called the brilliant vote of thanks. I don't know why this exists in events. We should do away with it. But since I don't like it so much, I'm going to let Shubhangi do the vote of thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for coming here today. Thank you so much for all those of you who are watching us online. I hope you're there till the end. So thank you so much for attending the pre-placement talk. I hope that all of you got what you needed, and all of you who were talking in the beginning, all of your questions are answered, right? If you have any questions, you can always ask Rahul, because he answers them very well.
But today I will not. So to all the people watching at home and all the people in the room, it's time to end. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a pleasure hosting you in person and remotely. Take care. Until next time, goodbye.
Thank you.